We're going to move on to our next contestant for the challenge. That is Alyssa Newlon, who is the founder of Milaan Foundation. So if everyone could give her a round of applause as she comes up to the stage. Thank you.
Thanks. Oof. So, hi everyone. We are all here today because we believe in the potential of investing in adolescent girls and women to drive systemic and intergenerational change. Our lives are inspired by stories of girls and women who have challenged the status quo and decided to change the narrative. My name is Alyssa Newlin, and I represent Milaan Foundation, which is a nonprofit working with adolescent girls in India. India is home to 120 million adolescent girls. For many of these girls, especially those living in underserved communities, the journey to adulthood is affected by lack of access to education, health services, as well as common social practices like child marriage and discrimination. Our solution is building a movement of girls, a movement that is co-created, co-designed, and co-led by girls, uniting their voices and amplifying the push for a larger and lasting shift in social dynamics and policy. To understand this seemingly insurmountable challenge, my co-founder Dhrinder Pratap Singh and I examined the underlying causes disrupting equality in communities in Uttar Pradesh, which is a state in northern India with almost the population of Brazil. And it has over 10 million adolescents, along with startlingly disproportionate poverty rate. We were seeking the answer to a simple question: why aren't communities investing in adolescent girls? Based on our collective experiences of working with women and girls, we knew the answer would be complex. We came away with 3 key learnings. 1, in communities where the current generation are mostly first-generation learners, these communities had no reference points of success stories to showcase the power and importance of educating girls. And the outside stories were just not culturally relatable. Nearly 40% of adolescent girls in India lack access to education. 2, many communities viewed marriage and the resulting unpaid labor as being the ultimate destiny of a woman. The concept of dowry, where the girl's family must pay a sum of money to the boy's family in order to get married, becomes a disinvestment. Unfortunately, India is still home to 1/3 of the world's child brides. 3, in almost every community we visited, we met a mother or two who was willing to invest in their girl's future, but they had almost no support system. Instead, the community would speak out against them. Considering the lack of educated women in underserved areas, this becomes a catch-22, as an educated mother is 200% more likely to educate her children. So based on our learnings from this primary research, as well as analyzing secondary research available on programming for adolescent girls, we co-designed the Girl Icon program. The Girl Icon program is a holistic leadership development program for adolescent girls between the ages of 12 to 18, which collectivizes them at the community level in groups, delivers experiential life skills training, and enables them to advocate and highlight the issues that affect them in their communities. Rajni is the first girl in her village to graduate from college. Rajni stopped her own child marriage and the marriages of 4 other girls in her village. Raj Kumari, who comes from a patriarchal community, not only fought for her education, brought more than 20 girls back to school after they dropped out. Today, we work with 378 adolescent girls. We call them Girl Icon Fellows, like Raj Kumari and Rajni, and over 10,000 adolescent girls in 4 states of India, collectively working together with grassroots women, community-based organizations, and national and international advocacy networks under the Girl Icon movement. Our work enhances the agency of girls, enables their access to education, increases knowledge on adolescent health, and builds awareness and protection from gender-based violence and discrimination. The Girl Icons are now aiming to reach 10 million people by 2030. We draw our energy to fuel this ambitious dream from our girls. They have fought for their rights. To get educated, they have fought against child marriage, and they are extraordinary fighters. Fighting injustice, fighting discrimination, and fighting for their constitutional and human rights. As part of our 3-year strategy, we will work with 500 Girl Icon Fellows, 30,000 adolescent girls across 5 states, for which we need $2.2 million. We invite you to be a part of this journey. And if you want to know a little bit more about what it means to be a girl icon, head over to the VR 360 booth. We have a VR film on Ronnie. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. Round of applause just under the buzzer. And now we'll hand it over to our judges for some Q&A.
I just wanted to talk a bit more about your revenue model. You said you need $2.2 million. That's
Yes.
over 3 years?
That's a 3-year, yeah.
Sorry?
That's over 3 years.
3
yes.
years. And where are you going to get that money from?
So I'm actually pretty excited because we try to have a strategy where our donors are both from the US as well as India. So one of our major donors, Edelweiss, or Edelgood, they have already committed to fund all of our operation costs. So we have 1.3 million committed, and then all operation costs are being supported by Edelgive. So we are looking to raise 900K.
On a related note, can you tell us a little bit more about what kind of structure you are? Are you a foundation? Are you a nonprofit?
Yeah, sure.
Are you a social business or some kind of hybrid? And related to that, when you're looking at the capital you need to raise, do you feel right now you need more grants or more of like traditional sort of business startup capital?
Sure. So we are actually a 501c3 in the US, as well as we have a FCRA in India. So we are a nonprofit. And we are looking for grants in terms of we're looking to scale. Right now, we've just completed a study with Berkeley to look at the impact of our first 114 girl icons. So we've come out of the pilot, and now we'd like to scale with the girls and reach more people. So right now, we are looking for grants specifically. We have partners, Girl Rising, we have Paper Seed Foundation in the audience. And we also have several other organizations and solo donors in India.
You mentioned that it was co-led by the girls.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that specifically?
Sure. So, I mean, I personally am an advocate against not reinventing the wheel, and I've met a lot of people here who say the same thing, which is great. So the idea is that as the program progresses, the girls tell us what's working and what isn't. They go back into the community. They work with 20 girls at least, and then they do social action projects in the community. So the idea is that when they come back, they say, okay, this worked. When they actually help design the curriculum, and it's a fluid curriculum. So we actually worked with FICUS to help develop the curriculum, and then they give their inputs. And we actually have employed one of our girl icons, she's amazing. So does that answer your question?
And to what extent do you think if you are successful, you can replicate this in the other parts of India, knowing that India is a very huge country?
I'm sorry, to what?
To what extent do you think this is likely to be, if it is successful, it can be replicated throughout many parts of India?
So right now we're in 4 states, but we are aiming to tackle, so India is 70% rural. So we are aiming to tackle all the blocks, the areas within rural area eventually. One of the things that I love about our model is we've actually partnered with another organization in Assam, the ENT, and they are taking this forward. So our model is about collaboration as well. It's not just, okay, we know northern India, but what about northeast India? So I think that it's very sustainable because we are working with other organizations to bring it other places, again, as well as the girls. And ideally, the girls will actually take this forward and push us out of the way. That's what we can hope for.
What is your measurement of success?
I would say that the Girl Icon program is totally led by girls. That it's completely, that they have gone through the program and that you know, they are running the program. Right now, we have some really good girls that are taking the reins. We've actually been featured on CNN and several.
I guess I was thinking more about outcomes.
So our major outcomes that we're focusing on are getting girls to complete secondary school, making sure that girls understand, have a better idea of health, reproductive, specifically health, and ensuring that girls are not married before the age of 18, which is the legal age in India, as well as not pregnant before we are also looking for enhanced agency. So we know, again, like Natasha really embodies this, but last night we talked about how agency is already there. It's really just about working with the girls and giving them the tools.
So along that line a little bit further, you mentioned 378 girls you've worked with. Do you know what that success looks like for them? Like when you talk about how many have finished school, how many aren't pregnant, like what does that success look like?
Well, they are
and
all
an
in
outcome?
school.
They're all in school?
They're all in school, yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately, every once in a while, we will have a girl drop out. That's the areas that we're working in, Uttar Pradesh being the starting state. We are also working in Madhya Pradesh, Assam, and Karnataka, and we're looking to go into Gurgaon in the Delhi NCR area. So the nature of our work is that some girls will face adversity. And that's why we have women that are from the community, that Saya Yogis, that we work with so that they can help the girls, that they're not just stranded by themselves.
Good. Thank you.
Fantastic. A round of applause.
Thank you, everyone.